Hey everybody, Brian Zane here, a bit of a breaking news video. It's been a wild and heartbreaking day in the world of wrestling as WWE announced several layoffs, firings, releases, furloughs, call them what you will. But the big story is a lot of men and women right now, in the dozens, are without work as of today. And it's not just wrestlers, of which there are several, but also several producers, at least one referee at the time of this recording, a couple of the writers, some more, people on the business side of things as well. This is all due to the supposed economic hardships brought about by COVID-19. And I say supposed, and I'll explain why in a little bit, but it is a constantly changing list of talent, constantly evolving and updating. At the time I'm recording this, there are some names that are confirmed, some that are rumored but not confirmed. I'm just gonna put down like a list of names in the lower third of the screen here. It might not even be accurate by the time the video actually goes live because more names might be added. We don't know when the bleeding is going to stop. And they've said that there's, they've speculated that some of these layoffs or these releases, like I said, are furloughs, temporary firings, and they'll come back once the things recover, but who really knows at this point. Some of these names don't surprise me, but honestly a lot of them do. Guys like Gallows and Anderson, who were just part of the Boneyard match at WrestleMania. I guess according to canon, Taker officially killed them off. You got recent Cruiserweight champion, Lio Rush, decades-long referee for the company, Mike Chioda. I was even kind of surprised that Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins and Heath Slater were all given the axe. I thought those guys were lifers. If anyone, Zack Ryder should get a big-time job for life in that company just because of how he changed the game in all of wrestling. He was one of the first guys to really utilize YouTube and social media as a way for self-promotion, getting yourself over. It's a tactic not just used by wrestlers today, but by entire companies, namely WWE. I mean, the company really owes him a lot. I'm heartbroken for the wrestlers and the non-wrestlers who are affected by today's releases. I hope they can all get back on their feet soon and not suffer too much as a result of this. Unfortunately, due to the world we live in today, there's not much point trying to talk about alternatives or greener pastures or showing a picture of Cody Rhodes doing this, There's no point in speculating where these men and women are going to go from here. And I hope that most, if not all, of these releases are temporary. I hope these are furloughs, that when things pick up, they can come back, even though that's no excuse for what we saw today. I'm sad, but I'm also mad. I'm really frustrated seeing this story unfold, considering everything that's been unfolding the last several days. I think that of all the low-down things that the man in charge of WWE has done or has been accused of doing over the years, this one is right near the top of the list. It amazes me just how many people are rushing to defend WWE and Vince McMahon right now, particularly those who aren't being paid by the company to do it. They're saying stuff like, hey, everybody's suffering right now. They're doing what they can to survive because everyone's hurting. Yeah, a lot of people are hurting, and justifiably so, but I would not put WWE in that same category by a long shot. I would not shed one tear for Vince McMahon or WWE right now. Because here's the thing, right now WWE is sitting on cash reserves of $500 million. They'd probably have more than that if Vince McMahon didn't decide to restart the XFL this year. Out of their entire annual budget, only 10% of it's actually going toward paying the talent. 10%, that is basically a drop in the bucket when you consider how much money this company makes. And wildest of all, the McMahon family just bribed the state of Florida with millions of super PAC dollars to help their company be deemed an essential business. And less than a week after they do that, they fire a huge chunk of their staff and their talent they've been hoarding for years for no real reason in the middle of a pandemic, many of which actually traveled to those recent shows because they were deemed essential. And why is the company doing this? Not because they're hemorrhaging money or they're on death's door as a business, but because they want to keep their shareholders and their investors happy on Wall Street. And what are they saving? What gobs of money are they saving for firing all this talent? About $4 million. Yeah, it's a business move, but you know what else it is? It's bullshit. If anything about WWE is essential, it's clearly the workers. If there's any reason to justify the use of spending cash reserves, it's to help pay for the men and women who spent years breaking their bodies for the good of the company. If any of you out there are defending the company for this practice and thinking they're doing it because they're really hurting that much, I'm sorry, it's just not the case. And yes, lots of companies and businesses are suffering right now, but if there's one company who really isn't in the grand grand scheme of things, it's WWE. So yeah, I'm sad and I'm mad and I don't really know what to do with all this information right now. If this is not a call for unionization in wrestling, then nothing is at this point. For a while I was so mad about everything I was seeing online. This what could best be described as a display of monstrous greed and callousness. I was seriously tempted to just not review the weekly shows for a little while as a form of protest. But after talking to some of my closest confidants and people in my life, I realized that's not the best course of action. It would hurt me a lot more than the company, and it would also not be fair to you, the viewers. I don't want to put you guys through that. So there will still be a Wednesday Warfare tonight. You'll still see the SmackDown reviews, the Raw reviews, what have you. But there's one thing that I plan on doing, and I also want everyone watching this video to do in the wake of all this. If you're mad at WWE right now, and I wouldn't blame you if you were, the best way to try and channel that anger is to support independent wrestling. I want you to buy tickets, I want you to buy merch, I want you to go on their Patreon pages or their OnlyFans if they have them. If you can afford it, then you should absolutely support independent wrestling. A lot of the men and women who are no longer in WWE, they're going to be in the independent scene fairly soon once this all blows over. By the way, it's going to be really exciting when they are. But when things do eventually open back up, they're going to need your support more than ever before. The fans are the lifeblood of independent wrestling, and without independent wrestling, you don't get to see the stars that you love on the larger stages. My heart goes out to the men and women who lost their jobs today over something completely out of their control, but honestly, totally within WWE's control. All I can really do right now is hope they get through this okay, just like I hope we all get through this okay. Let's work together to try and build wrestling back up, because once wrestlers and fans unite over a common goal, I believe there's nothing that can stop us. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.